Buenas tardes, estudiantes. Vamos a ver 2-1, I am versus I am. So in Spanish, there's two verbs. So remember, a verb is an action word, but we have the, we also have a form of be in English. And in Spanish, there's two forms of be. So for how you feel and where you are, you're always going to use the verb estar. And this is a little bit harder than the first unit, but we can definitely get through it. So we have Sarah and Estar in this unit, and both Sarah and Estar mean I am. So when we look at Estar, we're going to think for how you feel or where you are, always use the verb estar. For stare, it's who or what you are. So if you're generally speaking a very hardworking person, you would be trabajador or trabajadora. If you're generally a very lazy person, you're either perezoso or perezosa. When you're talking about where someone is from, so when you say de donde eres, and the person responds, soy de los Estados Unidos, it means they're from the US. So in this unit, you're going to learn about estar, stare versus estar, saying where you are from and asking others where they are from, talking about location, and talking about how you feel. Vocabulary is adjectives to describe feelings. Saying no, negative expressions. Perfecting your pronunciation of the letter R, ere. And Central American history, culture, and geography. And remember, if you need to see all the vocabulary, you're going to go down to 2-7. And you have to go even further. You can't just click on the front page. You have to go to page 2 and page 3. Oh, letra A. A means at or to. A la derecha de. To the right of. A la escuela. To school. A la izquierda de. To the left of. A menudo. Often. A mí. To me. A usted. To you. That's a formal you. Remember, somebody that you address with the title like Dr., Mrs., Mr. A veces, aburrido, aburrida, ahora, ahorrar, al lado de, al norte de, el alemán. El alfabeto, el almuerzo, amargo, amarga. Andar, el año escolar, los años, antes, aprender, los apuntes, la asignatura, el ayuda, ayer, ayudar, letra B, bailar, el banco, el barrio, el béisbol, bien, biológica, biológica, biológico, bonito, bonita, el borrador, borrar, brasileño, brasileña, bueno, Canadá, el cantante, la cantante, cantar, el capítulo, caro, cara, el carro, el cartel, casi, castigar. Cerca de, charlar, los chicos, chino, china, el chino, la china, el cielo, 100, las ciencias, 50, claro que sí, la clase de arte, la clase de biología, la clase de ciencia, la clase de español, la clase de física, la clase de francés, la clase de historia, la clase de idiomas, la clase de informática, la clase de literatura, la clase de matemáticas, la clase de química, cocinar, comer, la comida rica, con, el concierto, contento, contenta, contestar, el coro, cortar, costarricense, los crayones, el cuaderno, 40, de ninguna manera, de vez en cuando, debajo de, los deberes, decir, delante de, el deporte de pista, después, detrás de, el día escolar, el diario, difícil, divertido, divertida, dulce, encantar, encima de, el enfermo, el enfermero, la enfermera, enfermo, enferma, enfrente de, entre, el equipo, es la una, escolar, escribir, el escritorio, escuchar, la escuela primaria, el español, la española, especial, está bien, está cerca, está muy lejos, los Estados Unidos de América, el estadounidense, la estadounidense, el estante, estoy de vacaciones aquí, estricto, estudiar, el examen. Now, when you're going through these, I really want you to say them out loud, but I know that probably listening to me for the last 3 or 4 minutes hasn't been real interesting, but play it back so you can hear it and then repeat it. And I'm going to stop there because these are also in your vocabulary as you get into your lesson. So we're going to go to dos, uno. Okay, we have our objectives. Dos, uno, uno. Y podemos escuchar. No sé. Now, look down here at the bottom where it says how it works. Los Estados Unidos. Los EEUU. Many times you will see an abbreviation for Los Estados Unidos in Spanish language text. The most common is EEUU. Remember the verb ser, to be. Let's review how we used it to talk about nationality. We can use it to identify a person that's a certain nationality. Soy estadounidense. Él es colombiano. Or to say where someone is from with the expression soy de plus the name of the country. So you can talk about a person's nationality in a two-way. Juan es de Cuba, Juan es cubano. This should look familiar, but a review is always helpful. So don't skip over these reviews. Actually go through them and look at them and repeat the words. ¿Cómo se llama? Se llama Francisco. ¿De dónde es? Es de Canadá. Again, we have a listen and repeat. Canadá. Al norte de. So remember, click on the little speaker, listen and repeat. Now, here we have the phrases that they just said. And remember, you don't have to just keep going forward. You can always go backwards. If you're like, oh, well, I want to look at the listen and repeat, you can do that first and then go back to the conversation so you have an idea of what they're saying. This is something that you can take charge of. You're in charge of your own learning. So definitely make sure that you have a chance to do that. Okay, and then there are some masculine and feminine words and how they change. So go through this whole lesson before you take the quiz. So this first one, dos, uno, is more about ser and nationalities. And then dos, uno, dos is about Estar. So let's take a look at that. So here we have our study sheet. And then we have in English and in Espanol. And here, complete the dicho that helps you remember Estar. And I've already said it a couple times. For how you feel and where you are, always remember to use Estar. Okay, and now we have this thing called a conjugation. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of a conjugation before, but in English we have it quite often. But we don't realize that we're doing it. In Spanish, a conjugation is based on the subject. So we have subject pronoun yo, a subject pronoun tú, a subject pronoun él, which is the masculine form of ella. And I want you to say that word back to me, ella. And then usted formal. And we'll put little spaces between these so we can have better visual. And when we're conjugating the word estar, so this is our singular pronouns. We have estoy. And then we have estás. And one thing that you need to remember with these is that you do get an accent. And then all three of these are going to use the verb estar. Está. Okay. So these are our singular pronouns. Because there's one person, yo, estoy, tú, estás, él, ella, usted, está. And this is called a conjugation, changing a verb to match a subject. And we're going to do the other side of the coin. So nosotros is more included. And then the subject pronoun, vosotros, is all of you, kind of an informal all of you. And then we have ellos, ellas, and ustedes. And then the nosotros form of estar is estamos. And then we have estáis. Then we have están. So this is what a conjugation looks like, and that's the form of the word that you're going to be using. So, yo estoy, tú estás, él está, ella está, usted está. Nosotros estamos, vosotros estáis. Ellos están, ellas están, ustedes están. So when you see yo, then you would use estoy. So I'm going to clear this off. And we're going to go back to this lesson. And here we have, hola, Jorge, K-pop, Jay. Okay, so here's that word estar, but in the yo form, estoy. So here's estar, but conjugated or changed to match the subject. And so here we have estás. And that's the true form of estar. So here's one of those expressions, de ninguna manera, no way. And so that gives us a little bit of an introduction to Estar and Estar. Again, it gives you the background information on this slide. So if you want to go back a slide, that's okay. Feel free to do that. And then here's your vocabulary up here. And you can see the English. So keep going through each lesson all the way to the end. There's 12 slides here. And then here's that tip again for how you feel or where you are. Always remember to use a star. So if it's been said by me, if it's been said by the program, if it's been said by Ms. Lawrence, maybe we should remember that saying, okay? So I want to go through just a little quiz checkup with you, and then I'm going to sign off for today, and I'll come back a little bit later and we'll go through the written assignment together. So as we look at this, ellos son de Cuba. Ellos son. Now, here we have OS. And so when we have an OS at the end of a word, that means that it's going to be masculine. So we need to look down here at our choices. Cuba, cubano, cubanos, or cubanas. And this one matches. So when we click on it, we're going to use the one that matches ellos. So things in Spanish really do agree. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. So let's figure that. We're going to say letra C, cubanos, and submit it. Okay? And see, and we get the feedback correct. Now we're going to go on to the next question. Juan no está triste. Está. So here's that word estar. Our subject is Juan. Our adjective is triste. Triste, remember, is sad. So when you're looking for the opposite of sad. Ocupado, feliz, enfermo, Canadian. I know it's not letra D. Enfermo. Triste and enfermo. Well, I think if I was sick, I might be sad, so it's not going to be that. Feliz, feliz. Now remember that if you've ever heard the song Feliz Navidad, that's actually saying Happy Christmas. So triste, remember, means sad, so we're going to choose feliz for the opuesto. And again, we got it correct. Mi amiga Makiko es de Tokyo. Es, now look here at this one, amiga. So we have an A, so we need to find something that has an A in it down here because it's feminine. So here's an A and here's an A. And we know that it's just one A, so we're going to have to use japonés. We'll choose that one, submit it, and then get it correct. Let's look at the next one. Which of the adjectives below is a synonym for contento? Now remember, synonym means same, and you can remember that by S starts with same and synonym. The opposite of synonym is antonym, which means opposite. So we're looking for a word that means the same as contento. Well, if I'm just goofing around and I just want to hit letter A, then I'll say enfermo. And I'm going to get a wrong answer. But click the answer button so you can see what the answer is. So hopefully you can spend a little bit of time doing well on your quiz. If you've already taken it and you want to go back and retake it, ask Rose to reset it for you. Otherwise, hasta luego.